I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go. It's another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. It is your daily sports podcast. Sorry if you're watching the stream. My hair is out of control. I'm not sure what it's doing. We come to you every single day from the Limback Lumber Studios for the Daily Puck Drop. Contractors, they got free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects. The largest stock moldings in the Northwest. Old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. Give them a call, 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbacklumber.com. Visit me on social media. It's a great place, that social media. Puck Sports everywhere. Except for a TikTok, Puck_sports there. Also, please go visit pucksports.com. There, you can sign up to become a Pucks Posse member, which, again, contributes to everything we do here daily. Plus, we give you bonus shows every single week. And you can find all of our daily content up there at pucksports.com. All right. Game 5. Boy, this is a game freaking 5. We'll get into that on today's show. It's a Thursday. That means Mike Garafolo will stop on by from the NFL Network momentarily to talk all things NFL. What is wrong with our Seattle Seahawks? Is there anything wrong with the Seahawks? And a kind of a sneaky, well, not sneaky anymore, tough game coming up this weekend against Jacksonville. Brad Adam, of course, formerly of Root Sports. Brad will be with us throughout the baseball season. Brad and I did a special post-game show after Game 4 yesterday. We did it live on all platforms right after the game ended. And then if you want to watch or, just listen to it, if you'd like to just have even more pain, I made it available for Pucks Posse members. So it is there up on the Pucks Posse page. And best way to get there is at pucksports.com. Well, I will play about 5 or 7 minutes of it today of things that the highlights of what we talked about after the game yesterday. And really the decision now comes down to who will start Game 5. Will it be George Kirby who started Game 1, or is it going to be Luis Castillo that started Game 2? And again, you can make arguments on either side of which way they should go. I am of the belief it is a fairly easy decision that we'll get into the show coming up here in a bit. And then, of course, Thursdays means it's KJ-Arent's, our fun sit-down with one Mitch Levy from the Mitch Unfiltered podcast fame. And a reminder to all, we play the entire show during the live daily puck drop. But once the show is over, the only way to go and watch or listen to it, in case you miss it, is if you become a Pucks Posse member or you become a Mitch Unfiltered patron. And again, MitchUnfiltered.com or pucksports.com to sign up to become a Pucks Posse member. So Mitch is coming up. And then, of course, we end every show with Hey, What the Puck. Before we talk NFL with Garafolo, what went wrong last night? What went wrong in that game? Because as we discussed in the post-game show that Brad and I did, it felt like they were at times, how they got out to an early lead, were almost going to run away with the thing. Had their opportunity in the fourth inning to really blow it open. Bases loaded, and you end up getting one run. And you can look back on every moment, every decision in any game, in any sport, any baseball game, football game, it doesn't matter. And you can think, man, I would have liked to have more, or just the belief, man, I hope that doesn't come back to bite us. And that was my reaction after the fourth inning. I hope that doesn't come back to get us. And, ultimately, in a way it did. You didn't have momentum. You didn't bury them. You didn't bury the crowd even more. The crowd is booing them. The players probably have self-doubt. You left them with you left the Tigers with hope because they were only down 2-0 at that point. So you leave the bases loaded there. Robles to double play. JP pops out. And in that inning is also another decision that I think is fair to be critical of the decision making by Dan Wilson. I think there's actually a couple of decisions. The bullpen isn't as bad as I think some want to make it out to be, but I do think there was something there that he could have done differently. And again, all of this is easy the day after, and then the moments after the game. We acknowledge that. But I do remember in the time in that fourth inning, I just thought he went too early to pinch hit for Dom Canzone. We all know how I feel about Dom Canzone. And again, part of it is I've had fun with it a little bit just because it riles people up so much. Regardless of the celebrations and all the stuff he does, I do acknowledge that he's a good player. And again, he's had a fabulous second half of the season, and he has been very good against left-handers. He just had a hit earlier in the game. He just had an RBI. I just didn't understand the decision there in the fourth inning that early to pinch hit him. Now, did it hurt them? No, not there, but I think later it did. And Garver ends up getting a walk thanks to Naylor, because Naylor's out there just like an air traffic controller telling everybody where the pitches are coming and what the pitch is. I would have kept him in there. I would have rolled he's a better hitter than Mitch Garver. He just is. And again, yes, the sample size is smaller, but we discussed this on the Root Sports After Dark, not so great postgame show yesterday. Canzone against left-handers this year, and 58, maybe 60 ABs. 276, 368, 345, 712. Now, Garver, sample size is much larger, 133 ABs. But it's 233, 327, 391, 718. I just think you have to look at the situation and who overall stats, but who's been a better hitter. And I think that we do get caught up in this platoon things way too much. Rather than just going, what does your gut tell you? What does your feel tell you? And I think in that moment, how Canzone had already delivered, I'm leaving him in there. In fact, I'm starting him tomorrow. That's the other thing too. And I know that sounds crazy. I am starting him at DH tomorrow. And I'm not starting Mitch Garver. I don't need to see it tomorrow from him. I would rather go down swinging with Dom Canzone in the lineup opposed to Mitch Garver in the lineup. That's just me. I'm crazy. But the other decision I think that comes into play from the game is the bottom of the fifth inning. Should they have pulled Bryce Miller? Was it too early or too late for Bryce Miller? Which is a fascinating. I love the debate with this because this is a tough one. Jim and I had talked yesterday about I had a feeling about Bryce Miller based on what? I don't know, nothing. Just his makeup, the way he carries himself. I think the way that he pitches in terms of his confidence that he has, I had a feeling that he would rise to the occasion. And he did. And for 4 innings, he was great. He was 44 pitches through 4. And that for me, and as we discussed this week, what did you want to get out of him? 4, maybe 5. And I thought after 4 innings, okay, they're up. Pull him. What's the decision there? He has got you through 4 innings. You have the bullpen ready to go. You let him go out there for a 5th inning. But I also, at the same time, I'm sitting there going, God, it's a tough call. And I'm not, I think anyone to say, oh, that's just an easy call. This is what Dan Wilson should have done. You got to put yourself in a position of watching him play. He was, at that point, so good. So good. And I can't fault him too much for throwing him back out there for the 5th. Can't. Because he was so good. Maybe the plan was just to get him through 4, and then they changed that plan because of how well he was. I think if you look back and the hindsight on it, what should they have done? Maybe you start that inning with Gabe Spire. What I would have liked to see, and again, just talking to the walls around me, is something that we discussed yesterday with Divish. I would have liked to see Bryce Miller get through 4, which he did. I would have went to George Kirby in the 5th. It was his throw day. It would not have prevented him from starting on Friday, by the way. 2, I don't think he should start anyways on Friday. I would have thrown Kirby there. Give them a different look in that type of setting. He's done it before. He's pitched out of the bullpen in the postseason. It was his throw day. You get through the 5th. Then it at least gives your arms that not so much they've been overused or overtaxed. It's the fact that you are rolling out the same group every time. And if you go back to the Cleveland series with Detroit, that's what benefited the most in Game 3 because they had seen Cleveland's relievers, the same group. They've seen them the first 2 games, but they'd seen them all year long. There was a familiarity with them, and I think that's what's happened here with Detroit. Detroit has just seen the same. It's Spire, Bizzardo, Brash, Munoz. It's the same group. Now, Munoz has been great. So I think it's fair to look back on that one if the decision there was I would have went to Kirby in the 5th. Here's where I think, though, it is fair and it's justified. And I do think Dan Wilson should get criticism for this. So they get in the bottom of the 5th inning. They pull Miller. You got the Dingler double. It's a terrible read. It's a terrible effort by Arozarena. That's been something that's been a problem this year. And you celebrate Randy Land for all the good he does. But, boy, you certainly got to criticize him for the bad he does. And I don't know if it's situational lack of baseball awareness, not hustle, not understanding what's going on. But that's twice that's happened in the series. A ball hit just like that where you're like, where are you? And why is it rolling to the wall? It's bad baseball on his part. Spire comes in, replaces Miller. He's, not going to pitch to Meadows. That's Hinch counters there with Jones. First pitch, it's a double. Scores Dingler. You get the Baez RBI to left field. It's tied up. You see how they're hitting him. Yes, he gets out of the inning. I think at that point, if you're Dan Wilson, Gabe Spire cannot go back out there for the 6th inning. Just cannot do it. It's a 3-3 game. Nothing has been lost as of yet. You still have hope, but you run him back out there, and you should have pulled him at that moment. What happens? You start the 6th inning, immediately gives up the home run to Ryler Green on a slider, right, just hung up over the middle. Okay, fine. Now get him. It's 4-3, which you get him. He's out of there. Then Bizzardo comes in, and then the wheels come off. Torkelson double, McKinstry single, Perez double, Baez home run. 4 runs come across to score, and essentially the game is over. So, again, I don't think the decision to ultimately go to Spire there in the 5th inning, I don't think is a wrong decision. And to Bizzardo and all the things that he did, because he's been doing that all along. And he only trusts 4 guys, and it's clear. So as you go back to the deadline, you wonder why could they not add more arms? Ultimately Ferguson has not been good. We all discussed they needed not 1 but 2 arms, and they don't get any really. I do want an investigation into what the hell happened to Duran. What happened to that deal that seemed like it was a foregone conclusion, then it kind of just fell apart. All that being said, if you would have asked any of us before the season started, any of us, would you sign up right now? They're in spring training, right? Getting ready to leave Peoria. Would you sign up right now for a Game 5 of the American League Divisional Series, and you get to host it at home? And you have an option to go George Kirby or Luis Castillo. Everybody in their world would sign up for that. Now, does it look different now because of the situation? Well, of course it does. And the guy that's on the other side of the dugout coming out to pitch for another time, second time in the series, the 4th time overall, is it scary? Goddamn right it's scary. The odds that they can beat him 4 times in one season, low. Is he going to win another Cy Young? Yeah. So you're asking a team to beat a guy 4 times who's going to win back-to-back Cy Young. So it is a daunting task, obviously. Is it going to be electric on Friday? It better be. It better be, because, again, all of us would have signed up for that. Every single one of us would have signed up for a Game 5 of the ALDS at home and be ready to go. This is why they play 162 games. It's all the cliche, all of it. And here we are. And they've got an opportunity now to win it. And they've got an opportunity to move on. And they still got Logan Gilbert for game 1 of the ALCS. So everything that they had worked for all season long, and the moves they made at the deadline, has put them in this position Friday night, 5:08, to clinch a game 5 at home and move on to the ALCS. We'll get back to baseball, but it's Thursdays. That means it's Mike Garafolo Day. And from the NFL Network, Mike joins us every single Thursday. It's brought to you by our fabulous sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. Hartley and Hartley Insurance, your trusted family-owned insurance experts in the Puget Sound area since 1978. For honesty, fairness, and integrity, contact Jamie Hartley, 253-565-8700. Also, Zogs on Fox Island. Perfect spot to grab a cold beer on Friday. Sit down and watch the Mariners game against the Detroit Tigers. Check out Zogs on Facebook and Instagram for their hours and event times. Ladies and gentlemen, good-looking sunglasses on. It's Mike Garafolo from the NFL Network. Good day to you, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm late. I forgot. I don't even know what day it is. I have no idea. This is just this week.
It's
this is
Thursday, October 9th.
Giants Eagles. One of the
Giants Eagles
7 things I'm doing today for work. So, just getting through it all.
Hey, I got you. Whatever. How much time you give us is precious for us.
No,
we appreciate it.
I'm not gonna shortchange you. I forgot what day it is. I don't even know. I don't know the day. I don't know the time. But I'm here. Let's go.
Hey. How many fights tonight? Over under at 9.5.
In the stands?
Yeah. Is it gonna get a little fighty tonight?
Yeah, it might, because you got a bunch of Yankee fans that are, especially if the Phillies win and the crowd is kind of, hey Ed, and the crowd is kind of feeling it a little bit, the Eagles, let's say the Phillies win, because that's going to be right around the time the game kicks off. What's happening? Right around the time the game kicks off. So it'll be, I like your number. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah, 9.5. Yeah, so it's in New Jersey. Eagles, Giants, 5:15 tonight, Thursday.
How you feeling, by the way?
I'm a mess. Okay. Yeah, I'm a mess. I don't want to see Tarik Skubal again. Nobody in Seattle wants to see him one more time. But I have to take a step back, as I just was preaching to people. If you had asked before the season, we're leaving spring training, he got a game, you would take it. Game 5, ALDS at home.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, you lose in 5. But you're saying if like we can drop you in today, you would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would take it.
That's a good one. Yep. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. This is why they play the whole damn season, right? You play the whole season to have this.
I don't know why they play the whole season, because it comes down to like 3 to 5 games. So I don't know why they play this.
It is an amazing thing. Baseball is an amazing sport where you play so freaking long. And then it's like, nope, now you could be eliminated in this short series. Yeah. And it's all done. It's all over.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I do like, listen, the Phils had tough pitching matchups. You're up against it last night, and you're like, how are they going to be? And now all of a sudden, the motto of the entire city now is don't let us get one. When we get one, we're gonna get 3. That's the way. So that's how they're feeling right now.
Has Kyle Schwarber's ball landed yet?
That was a monster. I made the point earlier. I was on with Anthony Gargano, my friend, down in Philly. I said it wasn't just the fact that he hit a home run there; it's how far that ball went. Right, like sometimes style points. Actually, we're talking about the Eagles. Their style points matter. For this Phillies team right now, like style points mattered on that one. And baseball is such a mental game that the fact that it landed on the facade, as they call it, the facade out there, the fact that it landed on the facade out there was amazing.
He got in all of that. I'm going to make the same plea to Phillies fans that I would make to Seahawks fans and Buccaneer fans.
Yeah.
Because I think what we witnessed last Sunday between Tampa Bay and Seattle, one was a great game, it was very entertaining and all that. We witnessed the greatest uniform game in the history of the National Football League.
Yeah.
Nothing will top what we saw last Sunday. Then I bring it back here now to the Phillies. There should be no uniform ever worn that's not that uniform that they had on last night, the baby blues.
Somebody like the baby blues, the Cardinals wore the baby blues, the Phillies wore the baby blues. Who else am I? Royals had the baby blues.
Brewers,
which they don't.
Brewers have it, right? Yeah, I think.
I feel like they had. Didn't they have the mismatch? They had the blue top with the pinstripe pants. Maybe I'm thinking in my head, and that like used to be when you're on the road, you're going to wear baby blue, and then all of a sudden it became everybody wears gray. I don't know why that sort of got phased out or why it was a blip, but to see those things come back to life, and I. Albert Breer is my buddy from Sports Illustrated. He's big on, well, everybody only loves the throwback uniforms because they only wear them a couple of times. And if they wore them all the time, people would hate them. And I'm like, no, I think what it is that now the quality of the fabrics and the manufacturing is so much better. So everything pops more and everything looks better. And these were classic logos and looks. And now you combine that with modern technology and they look fantastic. So I'm with you.
100%. All right. I mentioned the Seahawks, and the Bucs game was great theater, but the Seahawks dealing with injuries and they just couldn't slow down Baker Mayfield in that offense that was missing Mike Evans and missing Bucky Irving. Before I move on to Jacksonville, tell me about Tampa Bay. How good is Tampa Bay? Are they legit in the NFC?
There's no doubt in my mind. And that's the team that I sort of came out of last week and said, because they're into the thick part of their schedule, the stretch where you go, okay, here's where they just got to fight, especially with the injuries. Here's where they just got to fight to survive. They've got San Francisco at home this week. They've got somebody else next week that's tough. And for them to win that game
at Detroit, the next week.
They're at Detroit. Yes, that's right. That's right. And you're like, oh wow, they could easily lose 4. And then all of a sudden to win. I actually felt the same thing about Jacksonville, so we'll get to them in a second. To win that game for them is like, okay, now you're sort of playing with one house money, but also this isn't just about the division for them anymore. This is about where can they place themselves within the NFC and could they make a run at a bye or the 1 seed possibly? And yeah, they can. If they get through this part of the schedule by winning some of these games that we thought would be L's, now all of a sudden the conversation becomes bigger. And I've long said this, and the Eagles have done this a couple of times in recent years. You almost play yourself into your record, right? Like you can be 10-1 and people go, oh wow, how did this team become 10-1? And you're maybe not that good, but because you won these games and you played into that and you built this lead and you start to believe what you've become. That's why that whole Parcells, you are what your record says you are. That could be taken a bunch of different ways. To me, your record sometimes says what you are, and I feel like Tampa Bay is that team this year.
We giving Baker Mayfield enough credit. I mean, we talk about quarterbacks all the time, and that was a great subplot to that game last week, Mike, was that you have two quarterbacks that were drafted so high. It didn't start off great for them. They go to all these different teams. They talked about their time in Carolina together, and now here they are, and they look like they finally found it. For Baker Mayfield, I find him very enjoyable. I love everything about him.
Yeah.
He's brash. He's in your face. He's cocky. I think he's accountable. He's talking shit to Seahawks fans. I think at the beginning of the game in the tunnel, there's just, if I was playing with him and for him, I think I would love it. I'd run through a wall for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and I think if you root for him as if he's the quarterback for the team that you root for, that's a great guy. That's the kind of guy you want to have to be your quarterback. Your initial question, are we giving him enough credit? I think we are. I think we are finally now, and I would say finally, right? Like he's gone through some undulations in his career, some ups and downs and backs and forth, and I did think that it was sort of funny that the Carolina Panthers had both Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield on their roster at one point and decided that neither one was the answer. And here they were playing against each other in a game like that in 2025. I thought that was awesome. So, I think he's come a long way. I think he's in with a head coach in an organization that empowers him. He's been with some offensive coordinators that he's jibed extremely well with, and that's been the criteria for the last couple of hires. You know, who's going to mesh well with Baker, who's going to bring out the best in him, and Josh Grizzard's doing a great job right now. So, I think he's getting it because he's being talked about as a possible MVP right now. So, yeah, he's getting the proper amount of credit, and he's earned it.
As he should. And I really think right now, as we're, 5 weeks into the season, I think that the storyline, at least for me, where I sit for the NFL, are the court drafting and identifying the quarterback is the most difficult thing in all of sports. Because we just talked about Mayfield, talked about Darnold. Mac Jones has got an opportunity now in San Francisco. He looks like he's in the perfect spot. He's a little dinged up and all that, but again, he looks like he's in an environment to where he could thrive in if he has to be the long-term quarterback there in San Francisco with the Purdy injury. We've looked at that before. I mean, now this has been a few years now, but even Jared Goff to a lesser degree. Daniel Jones in Indianapolis. Where everybody's like, you just throw Daniel Jones aside. He's terrible. He's awful. He's all that. But now he looks like he's playing finally to his potential. I think I'm reminded of it when you get to the draft and all of it. It's like, God, it's just so hard to find a guy.
Yeah,
it's so quick to give up on these guys early and say, oh, they're a bust.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, it was said about Baker and Darnold a few times along the way. It's not just even about drafting too. It's also about developing, and not enough teams do that. There's probably a parallel universe where Zach Wilson's an MVP, right? And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen necessarily in this one at some point, but I would bet against it. Some guys are like Trey Lance. I don't think is ever going to pan out, and I don't know that there's a situation where think about it. Like, this is a place, San Francisco, where other quarterbacks are thriving, and he couldn't thrive there. Sometimes it's just the wrong guy. But I think it's a lot of things. I think it's drafting and developing. It's the right situation. It's the right time. A lot of times for these guys, there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of science that goes into making a quarterback, drafting him, identifying him, developing. And a lot of places don't do it and don't have the patience for it. And that's a shame because sometimes it does take a little bit of time for sure.
Okay, Seahawks got Jacksonville coming up on Sunday. Tell me, are these guys for real? They've won 3 straight, last 2, 49ers and Chiefs.
Yeah, I think they're a little above their heads right now. I do. I seriously think I think there's going to be a resettling. This is not a 12-5 team in my opinion. This is around a 9-8 team. Now, again, this was the stretch for me. This was the 3-game stretch, all at home. But it was the Chiefs last week, the Seahawks this week, the Rams next week. And I said if they go 2-1 in this stretch, never mind 3-0. If they go 2-1, to me, it's a legitimate team. I could still see 1 and 2. I could see them losing Sunday. Matter of fact, if you made me pick, I would say give me the Seahawks in this game. So it's they're good in a lot of areas. I still also I can't get the image out of my head of Trevor Lawrence playing really well early in seasons. Now sometimes he's been injured too, but really well early in seasons and then fading down the stretch and making critical mistakes at critical times. So I still want to see that to believe it. Devin Lloyd's doing a great job. As I said on air the other day, he's sticking it to his own team. Didn't pick up my 5th-year option? Good. Watch what I do now. Watch how I drive up the price on my next contract. He's doing a fantastic job of that. And they're good in other areas. I just don't know, like offensive line, is that going to hold up? Are they good enough from a defensive line pass rush standpoint to really control games late in the season? We'll see. We're going to find out about all this stuff. And again, Seahawks go in there and win this week. All of a sudden, the conversation changes in a lot of ways. We'll see.
All right. Things started off well in Las Vegas. They get a win on the road against the Patriots. They have now lost 4 straight. And Mike, in 3 of these 4 losses, 2 of them, they're giving up big numbers. 41 to Washington, 40 recently here to Indianapolis. Geno Smith, there's talk coming out of Las Vegas. Would they think of making a move here with Geno Smith? And I'm blanking on who the backup is.
It's Kenny Pickett with Aiden O'Connell coming back at some point.
Okay. So there's talk of that. And then now there could be, and I'm wondering if they're 1-4, it doesn't look like they're going to be all that competitive. What's the situation potentially? Because out here, we need help. We love defense. We love a defensive end. Is Maxx Crosby untouchable in your opinion? Do you think they would listen to offers before the November 4th deadline?
They're always listening to offers, but I would think if they would have made a move, it would have been this offseason. And I guess Max, if he was really intent on, I want to play for a contender, like should have seen that this was going to be a rough year, right? That wasn't necessarily, I mean, I guess you can maybe get caught up in everything Pete was saying, like we're going to compete, we're going to win games. I don't know any other way and all that stuff. And then they win week 1 and you go, okay, here come the Raiders as a playoff team. It's a tough division. It's a hugely tough conference as well. Max is getting to the point where it's like, am I going to compete here? Is it ever going to happen? I got to go through the contract ramifications at this point, having just done a new deal for him. I would think there'd be a huge cap hit in that regard to moving him. I got to look at it honestly. But honestly, Trey Hendrickson's the guy that makes much more sense to be moved before the trade deadline, although the Bengals made this move with Joe Flacco thinking that this will help them compete. But we've got 3 to 4 weeks here for that to pan out and decide whether or not they're going to be in contention and whether they want to move Trey or not.
Do some digging on the contract. So it may be not that penal.
I got to look at it. I honestly have not even looked at it.
Yeah. But because I'm just curious. I think that's what's led some to speculate that he could be dealt. Well,
now that was part of the conversation before the deal was like, hey, if you're not going to pay this guy, do we need to talk about a possible? And they said, no, we're going to take care of it. And they did. And they did it early, which was smart because there was a bunch of deals that came after that. So, I'd have to look at it. But I do know that when it was mentioned as a possibility in passing before they really dug in on the contract negotiations, this Raiders regime was not interested in moving a guy that is such a game changer the way that Maxx Crosby is.
Is it too early? I mean, Ravens season on the brink. They're 1-4. They got to play the Rams this week.
Yeah, it's a little early, but if you look at their schedule after the bye and the fact that they should get healthy in a lot of areas, including getting Lamar Jackson back, I still think the one that we haven't really highlighted enough, Patrick Ricard, their fullback, 5-time Pro Bowler and a big part of their running game. Got to get him back as well. And they haven't put him on IR, which tells you they expect it to be less than 4 weeks, and it wasn't. I mean, he's been down with a calf injury since the start of the season. This is a team that is going to have to go on the road in the playoffs, maybe even 3 times as a wild card, because Pittsburgh, I think, is going to wind up winning this week. And if Pittsburgh wins and Baltimore loses, which the odds would tell you that that's the case, now they're 3 games back or 3.5 or whatever it is in the division. I mean, that's just going to be a tough climb out for them at that point. So I think they're a dangerous, who wants to see them come into your building with Lamar Jackson type team. But I think they're just at this point so buried, it's going to be tough for them to win a division.
There's a story in college football, obviously has NFL tentacles to it, and that would be Bill Belichick. Could you see if it ends in North Carolina at all? He didn't have any suitors last time he was looking for a job in the NFL. It didn't seem like. Can you see him resurfacing in the NFL if he bails out of North Carolina?
No.
You think?
I mean, there was no interest. There was no interest last year, including from an organization such as the Jets, that you would think be like, oh wow, the chance to have a legendary coach here. They had no interest in even entertaining it. So nothing has changed to the upside. In fact, if anything, it's gone to the downside. There's been the sideshow with his girlfriend as well. That's been a big part of this. I don't see how he's anywhere on anybody's radar as an NFL head coach at this point.
You don't see that, in terms of trades, Mike, you just don't see teams in their own division making trades. But we saw it this week, obviously, with the Bengals and the Browns for Joe Flacco. You just don't see that a lot, but they did it. And now Joe Flacco is starting for the Bengals. So now they're going with Dylan Gabriel of the Browns. One, how rare is that? And then 2, do you expect the Browns at some point to let Sanders have a run at it?
How rare is it? Well, Donovan McNabb got traded within the division. And honestly, that was a much different scenario because he was sort of still within his prime and it was a long-term move. This was a short-term move. This was an easy one for the Browns. I mean, Joe Burrow is going to be the quarterback of the Bengals no matter what they did from a trade standpoint. So this is like hey, we know we're not making the playoffs this year. We know we're not keeping Joe Flacco beyond this year. Make the trade, get something back for him at this point because he's not necessarily, it's not even like, oh, he's a free agent, he's going to sign somewhere and we'll get a comp pick. That was not going to be the case with Joe Flacco either. So the Browns are making a lot of moves to sort of set themselves up for the future, which I guess is, I always find this interesting to me because there's a lot of speculation about would the Browns make a change at head coach and general manager. Well, here's the GM making all these moves as he runs them by ownership. I guess ownership saying, well, even if I don't keep this guy, he's building up draft capital moving forward for whoever the general manager is going to be. So he's doing the best he can to make a statement, I guess, for his job to say, hey, look at all this draft capital I got. Let me cash in on it. We'll get everything moving in the right direction. Yeah, I think Shador's going to play before the end of the season, mostly because I don't think Dylan Gabriel's going to play well enough to keep him on the bench and be like, oh, wow, here's our quarterback of the future. Here's our new franchise guy. Dylan Gabriel's a nice little quarterback. I think he's going to be a backup for a long time in this league. I don't think he's a starter. And I think a lot of teams felt that way, which is why he went in the draft where he did. So I just don't see anything changing. And at some point you go, all right, let's turn it over to Shador, who I don't think is going to be the number 2 quarterback this week. I think it's going to be Bailey Zappi.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And Ian and I had a little, not a debate about this last night, but, we were talking about the fact that if Shador's your backup and he goes into a game, it's like, oh, you're throwing him in the middle of the game. You didn't really game plan for him. He didn't get the reps all week long. You want to put him in a situation where he's going to be successful. Throw Bailey Zappi in, who has been a sacrificial lamb before, including late last year. And it doesn't matter what he does. When Shador plays, we want it to be a week where we just had him the slow roll up, made sure everything was in the game plan that he's comfortable with to make sure he's in a position to succeed. I understand that, but at what point does that happen? Like, this is a competition in the spring, the summer, in the preseason, into the like. At what point is it like, all right, cool, we finally feel good enough to put this guy on the field?
So first pitch tonight in Philadelphia will be at 6:08, and then kickoff for Eagles and Giants will be a little after 8:15. Take us inside the Philly sports fan. What time? When are they lubing up? Has it started?
Yeah, they're already into it now. Yeah. It's past lunchtime, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
So 1:40 out
well, they're
there.
not the games.
It's already getting underway.
Both are road games, right? So
yeah,
I think the ones that are getting the most lubed are the ones that are coming up the turnpike right now. Hopefully not driving themselves, but coming up the turnpike right now and getting set to tailgate. I mean, I'll try to see if I can get on the way in somebody who's tailgating, although I'm going to be in much earlier than them, watching the Phillies game in the parking lot, getting ready for. I mean, that's living the dream, isn't it?
Oh, well, we lived it last Sunday. It was. I know a lot of people. A lot of my buddies double dipped Seahawks game right into the Mariners game. That's a long day.
Mariners were home that night.
Yeah, it was at 5:00.
Now that's living the dream. That was 2 home games. That's great.
2 home games at West Coast, which is the best, right, for start times. It was fabulous. Beautiful weather, except for the Seahawks just blew it.
We actually got beautiful weather here. This is great. Not bad at all. In the 60s today. It's great.
Yeah, you look great. You just look, again, it's you look like you're doing what's his name? Stanley Tucci. Your Italian show on CNN. Rolling around, eating and drinking. All right. Thank you, sir.
I should be doing more of that. Yes.
You should. Grab yourself get some rest. We'll see you NFL. What's the program? What's the schedule?
NFL Network. I'll be on a bunch. 6 p.m. Eastern on NFL Game Day Kickoff. We're also on the Fast channels today on Insiders on the NFL channel and Fast services. And I'll be on post game. We'll have a one-on-one interview. Going to try to get it with AJ Brown. Win, lose, or draw. That'd be great. And then see how it goes. We're going to have some fun tonight.
Well, thank you. I know it's a busy day for you. Yeah. We appreciate you carving out the time. Thanks, Mike.
You got it. Thanks, dude.
There he is, Mike Garafolo, NFL Network, brought to you by Hartley & Hartley Insurance, your trusted family-owned insurance experts in the Puget Sound area since 1978. For honesty, fairness, integrity, contact Jamie Hartley, 253-565-8700. Also, Zogs on Fox Island. Perfect spot. Grab a cold beer, hang out with friends, and catch the game at Zogs. Check out their hours, Facebook, and Instagram. Go out there Friday. I know the weather's not supposed to be great, but great place to sit and watch the Mariners in Game 5 against the Detroit Tigers. All right, we got KJ-Arent coming up. Before we sign off the show, again, a reminder of KJ-Arent with Mitch Levy from Mitch Unfiltered. We play the entire show during the live DPD, but once it's over, it's just for Pucks Posse members. Sign up at pucksports.com, or if you are a patron for Mitch Unfiltered. Before we get to Mitch and another edition of KJ-Arent, Brad Adam and I did a little post-game show after the game last night. We thought we would play 5 or 7 minutes of our discussion talking about the pitching situation last night, the decision of the bullpen with Dan Wilson, also looking ahead what they will do in Game 5, Luis Castillo or George Kirby. Of course, Brad Adam, formerly of Root Sports, always brought to you by John Howie Steak. Excellence in dining? Visit John Howie Steak and experience premier Northwest dining. Prime custom aged steaks, award-winning wine, unmatched level of service. You won't be disappointed. Make your next reservation today at John Howie Steak. I think you should have thrown George Kirby for an inning. It's his throw day.
Maybe, right?
And you get through that fifth inning with Kirby. Then, it gives a little bit of relief. Then you can go 6, 7, 8 and, and go that route. But I just think that he got greedy and wanted to throw Miller out there one more time. And I get it. Listen, Miller's pitching great. He was unbelievable. But
hey, so if in your scenario, would you still start Kirby Friday?
Well, I mean, depending on how many pitches he would have thrown, you could have, or you could have gone with Castillo because Castillo would have been on his normal rest. I mean, for Kirby's getting an extra day, right?
Yes, and have Kirby out of the pen on Friday.
Sure. I mean, everybody. You're like,
everybody's available.
Friday is all hands on deck. I mean, there is no Sunday if you can't win on Friday.
Yeah.
Think tip. So, I mean, everyone that's got an arm that can breathe, minus Ferguson, everybody minus Ferguson can pitch.
Yeah, and probably not Bryce, but everybody else is ready to go.
Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. If you need him, I think you should have thrown George Kirby for an inning. It's his throw day.
Maybe, right?
And you get through that fifth inning with Kirby. Then, it gives a little bit of relief. Then you can go 6, 7, 8 and, and go that route. But I just think that he got greedy and wanted to throw Miller out there one more time. And I get it. Listen, Miller's pitching great. He was unbelievable. But
hey, so if in your scenario, would you still start Kirby Friday?
Well, I mean, depending on how many pitches he would have thrown, you could have, or you could have gone with Castillo because Castillo would have been on his normal rest. I mean, for Kirby's getting an extra day, right?
Yes, and have Kirby out of the pen on Friday.
Sure. I mean, everybody. You're like,
everybody's available.
Friday is all hands on deck. I mean, there is no Sunday if you can't win on Friday.
Yeah.
Think tip. So, I mean, everyone that's got an arm that can breathe, minus Ferguson, everybody minus Ferguson can pitch.
Yeah, and probably not Bryce, but everybody else is ready to go.
Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. If you need him. So this may be an obvious question, but who has the advantage on Friday?
Team-wise?
Sure. I mean, is it the Tigers because they have Skubal, or is it because the Mariners are playing at home?
Man, that's almost a wash, isn't it? I mean,
it feels like it.
But I'm going to go with home. Obviously, I'm going to go with Seattle.
Okay.
Home, and the fact that they've beaten them.
Okay.
But you're right, man. The chances are 400 times is hard. But home, and they've done it. They know how to win at home. They're really good at home.
They are.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another, like the first two games, 3-2. I'm going to call it again.
And you're right. I mean, here's the thing. In their back pocket, you're right. In their back pocket, they say to themselves, all right, we're not afraid of them. We have beat them 3 times this season. And maybe for Skubal, and we haven't really gotten to the mind of Skubal yet. But maybe even for Tarik Skubal, there has to be a little bit, whatever that is, whatever percentage of it is. It's got to be something. There's got to be some percentage of, God, what is it about this team why can I not beat them this year? So there has to be a little self-doubt, right?
Absolutely. So you wonder if he's going to invite, Seattle U out again, as he's done the previous times here.
I wouldn't do it.
Maybe he leaves them at home.
Seattle U should be back at home. I think Seattle U is a bad luck charm. They have been for years, Brad.
Right?
Ever since they changed their name, right?
Exactly.
If Brad was sitting in talking to Dan Wilson and that mustache of his, what would you tell Dan Wilson? You would say, if he said, Brad, I need your advice. I can't lean on Pete Woodworth anymore.
I don't trust
Manny is out.
Nice.
You tell me. You're my new bench coach.
Oh,
I want to. Who should I start? Kirby or Castillo?
Ooh. That is a really good question because
who's been the starter for the Mariners the 3 times they've beat them?
That would be Castillo.
That's right, The Rock.
The Rock.
And it's Friday, so you know what that means? It's a fisting Friday.
I didn't. Did we say that? You'd go with Castillo's experience, huh, over Kirby and bringing Kirby maybe?
I would start Luis Castillo. Yeah, I would.
He was, obviously effective. He wasn't, pitch check, and I know he only lasted, 4 1/3, 4 2/3, but no runs, only the one hit, right?
Was wobbling.
But then you bring in Kirby maybe. Or do you think, I guess you can't really look ahead and say who matches up better next round. You can't really do that. So
it's you just get to the next round. My God,
you go Castillo?
Huh? I don't know. That's what I'd go with.
I say I would not be mad if Castillo started. I think George would be mad, but I would not be mad.
No, well, sure.
But bring George in maybe in relief. Because he's done that before, in Toronto. It's once, but he has done it. So it's not like he's never come in relief and knows how to warm up during a game. So, okay.
2.60 ERA at home this year.
Which one?
Castillo.
Pedro.
Batting average against 192, slugging 323, OPS of 580 for
That's
Luis
pretty good
Castillo.
numbers.
Now, the one thing about him is against left-handers, not good. Lefties,
a lot of lefties.
Lefties have done good against him. 278, 348, 466, 814.
Damn, that's at home or just overall?
Overall.
Overall lefties, that is pretty good. And they have a lot of lefties.
No, now you're like, oh.
Now I'm wobbling. Now
you're wobbling.
I need Pete. I need Woodworth. I need Pete.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Tell me what to do.
No, you don't get Pete. You don't get Pete. You're just it's only
just me and Dan.
It's just you and Dan. That's all I get. You want Kirby slash line against lefties. It is 264, 324, 11, 731. Like most pitchers, his stats at home, good. But Castillo, almost a run better than him at home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Kirby, 3.38.
Whew, dang.
Squeeze 4 innings out of Castillo, 3 with Kirby.
There you go.
And then it's hey, Catman.
Let's
2
go.
innings. Two innings to get us to the ALCS.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer. Your new, locally brewed, domestic-style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
And a big thanks to Brad Adam. Again, that was about 5 or 7 minutes from Brad Adam from our postgame show that we did yesterday. And we talked about this at the beginning of the show as well. And we talked about it yesterday. If they asked me our thoughts about tomorrow, which they never would do, and maybe they shouldn't do. I would go with Luis Castillo. I would start him. I would then turn to George Kirby. And, in a perfect world, could you get 4 innings out of Castillo? Could you squeeze 2, 3 innings out of Kirby? And then turn it over to, you just got to identify who you feel is your 2 best. Who do you trust the most? And I think for Dan Wilson, if he had to pick 2 relievers that he trusts the most, I think he trusts Gabe Spire and Andres Munoz. And hell, you can even tell Munoz, it's 2 innings for you, bud. Or even start with Gabe, see what happens, and then go to Munoz. But that's what I would do. I would have Castillo be the guy. Both in, Kirby had a better game in the game 1. He only gave up 2 earned runs. Obviously, the 1 home run to Carpenter. 5 innings. He struck out 8. He walked 1. His numbers are better against left-handers. His slash line is 264, 324, 11, 731. Castillo counters this season, 278, 348, 466, 814. But I think when you watch Castillo, because he throws his changeup more, because he throws it more often than George Kirby does, that can be his out pitch more against left-handers than what Kirby does. Kirby is, it's fastball, and his secondary pitch is his slider, and that's kind of it for him. His 2 fastballs and then that slider. At home, his ERA is good, 3.38. Castillo's is better at 2.60. Kirby has pitched out of the bullpen in the postseason. Of course, did it last time they were there. Castillo, I don't believe has at all. At least in the regular season, has not. So I think you start with Castillo. You squeeze out 3-4 innings. You turn to Kirby. Then you turn to... it's everyone. But I think in a perfect world for him, Inspire in Munoz and call it quits. All right, it is that time. It is another edition of the world-renowned KJ-Arent, which is catching fire, ladies and gentlemen. People are there. I get comments from people everywhere. I can't wait for another edition of KJ-Arent with Mitch Levy and Jason Puckett. We catch up with Mitch every single week. Mitch Unfiltered podcast. A reminder, during the live show, you get all of it. But once we sign off here in a little bit, the only place to watch or listen to it is if you become a Mitch Unfiltered patron, MitchUnfiltered.com, or a member of the Pucks Posse at PuckSports.com. How nervous is Mitch Levy for Friday? And why did he forget about me on Monday's Mitch Unfiltered show with Hotshot Scott? Here we go. KJ-Arent, Mitch Levy, how are you? How are you doing? Everything good?
I had 2 older brothers growing up. I don't need a 3rd older brother teasing me, okay? They did enough for everyone. They teased me till the cows came home, and I know exactly what you're going to do.
You may have an idea what I'm going to do, but I don't think you know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to listen. We're going to get into the Mariners. We got the Mariners. We got the Seahawks.
Yes,
a little bit, but we got to get to Game 5. I listened to your Monday show. I mean, that's about I think that's the angriest I've ever heard you on a show. You normally don't get like that. You normally let your guests kind of finish talking, but you wanted none of those two on Monday's show.
Wait, which ones are we? I mean, I don't know. I was interrupting every guest that I had. So
it was the Seahawks roundtable. Those poor guys, I don't think got a word in for 30 minutes.
Okay, well. I was pissed.
I know you are. We're going to get to that. So
I was just pissed in general, though. It wasn't just about the Seahawks. It was about I was not feeling as good about the Mariners after the 1-1 split when I recorded that show as everybody else. So I was just in a terrible mood.
Well, it was a very good episode because I like how you and Hotshot started it. Just being like, this sports is supposed to be fun.
It's
None of this is fun.
It's not fun.
And I totally understand all of that. I sympathize with that because I get like that as a sports fan. I'm sitting there and this was, I think, Tuesday. I got a long drive. I'm just driving around. So I'm flipping on Mitch Unfiltered, my favorite podcast.
Yeah.
I got everything.
Yeah, I know it's coming.
I'm tearing up on Neuheisel.
Oh. How good was it?
I just, I'm as a dad who coaches, who has kids that play sports. I mean, to watch your kid do that, unbelievable. And the fact that his kid, looks like him and sounds like him is very odd.
Yeah.
But here's my problem. Here's my problem with the show on Monday. I got one big problem, and I want to know what I did to you. Did I do something wrong? Because I'm listening and I'm thinking, normally I text you for the password for Beat the Boys. Or I ask, hey, I forgot. But then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'll just go listen to. So I remember that in the first segment, I'm going to get the Beat the Boys password.
Did I miss it? Did I forget?
No, you didn't miss it.
Okay.
But
I was pissed that day. I was pissed.
I know you were. But I'm listening. I'm having a good time. I got Hotshot you. I love Hotshot. He's probably one of my favorite people in the world.
Okay.
But we get to this portion of the show, of Mitch Unfiltered Monday show.
It's a great time, as I say, to become a Mitch Unfiltered patron for $5. I say that all the time, but it's actually true right now. I think we did 6 or 7 shows last week. Tons of Mariners coverage, Seahawks coverage, Ray Roberts, Jason Lockenfora, Danny O'Neill, Slickhawk, Brady Henderson, Jackson Bevins, Brady Farkas, Joe Doyle. MitchUnfiltered.com. Click Become a Patron, and for $5 a month, you're going to get everything.
Let's just rewind it.
Okay. No.
Hold on. Let's rewind the rundown of everything you get at Mitch Unfiltered. One more time.
Doyle, Mitch, Danny O'Neill, Slickhawk, Brady Henderson, Jackson Bevins, Brady Farkas, Joe Doyle. MitchUnfiltered.com. Click Become a Patron.
Now, it's not that you didn't mention me.
Oh, what is it?
It's the pause where you thought, should I mention him?
No, that's not true.
I want the audience to hear this.
Fair.
Hold on. Hold on.
MitchUnfiltered.com. Click Become Doyle. MitchUnfiltered MitchUnfiltered.com.
It's that pause.
Oh, for God's sake.
It's that pause of like, should I mention? Oh, I'm not going to mention. I just know when you sign up for a Pucks Posse membership, every day at the end of the show, I mention Thursdays.
Have I ever missed your
Levy.
name before? Have I ever missed your name before?
I don't know.
I don't think I have. That's first of all. Second of all,
Unbelievable.
Did you take like a Bell and Howell tape recorder up to your speakers and record it? I mean,
well, yes. Well, the only way I could do it was just a screen record.
What the hell? Do you even know what a Bell and Howell is? You don't know.
No. All I could do was a screen record. So, yeah, the audio's not great there. I'm driving around and I'm thinking, wait for my name to be called like a big deal. Never comes.
I was mad. I don't know what I did. I forgot your name. I'm sorry. I said it to you. I said it all along that I really felt like the Mariners had to win game one.
Yeah.
There were so many advantages for the Mariners in game one, being that Detroit just played. They'd used their bullpen. They're using their fourth best starter. They're doing a bullpen start. You're fresh. You're picking any starter you want. You're playing at home where we're great, one of the best teams at home in baseball. There were so many advantages. I think they were Puck, I think they were minus 230 going into game one. And every other favorite in game ones of the divisional series were like minus 130, minus 140. And then it was like Mariners minus 230, minus 2. They were so overwhelming favorites. They had to win game one. And when they tossed game one, I didn't think they would win game two. But when they tossed game one, I thought, oh, boy, this is going to be very painful. And it is. Did you know where this is an aside that maybe 10 of your listeners will get, but do you know where Seattle University plays over off of Richards Road? That little play. I forget the name. It's driving me crazy.
It's
right there in Factoria. They play right there.
Bannerwood.
Bannerwood. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think you would know. I think you know that my younger son played baseball.
Yeah.
He played a ton of games at Bannerwood.
Yeah.
And Bannerwood was like right down the road from where we raised the kids and where our house was right down the road. I just find it really weird that for 3 years, the best pitcher in the world was pitching at Bannerwood.
He had no idea. He had no clue.
He's hanging out at Chipotle on Factoria Boulevard. The best pitcher of all of baseball, a two-time Cy Young, was hanging out for 3 years at Bannerwood in Factoria.
What's wrong? No idea.
No idea. Had
long hair. You see his hair. He had like long hair.
What's going on there? We could have. You and I could have been going to watch the future two-time Cy Young Award winner at Bannerwood off of Richards Road in Bellevue. I find that to be strange.
Is there any part of you? I mean, because at least the Mariners have to say to themselves, well, we've beat them 3 times. We've had success. JP has hit them. Rosarina's hit them. Polanco has hit them.
They've had some success.
They've had some success. Right.
They haven't hit them because all of those guys are all hitting like 200s against them. So let's just make sure we understand.
No, I think JP isn't JP like really good against them?
Maybe one of those guys is. Okay. Yeah.
But for Skubal, as good as he's been.
Yeah.
Isn't there have to be just a little self-doubt in his back of his head that, hey, man, I can't beat these. Why can I not beat this team?
Right. I agree with that. And I think what he's thinking is if I only had him at Bannerwood.
If we played at Bannerwood, we'd win.
I said it to you. I said it all along that I really felt like the Mariners had to win game one.
Yeah.
There were so many advantages for the Mariners in game one, being that Detroit just played. They'd used their bullpen. They're using their fourth best starter. They're doing a bullpen start. You're fresh. You're picking any starter you want. You're playing at home where we're great, one of the best teams at home in baseball. There were so many advantages. I think they were minus 230 going into game one. And every other favorite in game ones of the divisional series were like minus 130, minus 140. And then it was like Mariners minus 230, minus 2. They were so overwhelming favorites. They had to win game one. And when they tossed game one, I didn't think they would win game two, but when they tossed game one, I thought, oh boy, Oh boy, this is going to be very painful, and it is. Do you know where this is an aside that maybe 10 of your listeners will get, but do you know where Seattle University plays over off of Richards Road? That little play. I forget the name. It's driving me crazy. It's right there in Factoria. They play right there.
Bannerwood.
Bannerwood. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think you know that my younger son played baseball.
Yeah.
He played a ton of games at Bannerwood.
Yeah.
And Bannerwood was like right down the road from where we raised the kids and where our house was, right down the road. I just find it really weird that for 3 years, the best pitcher in the world was pitching at Bannerwood.
You had no idea. You had no clue.
He's hanging out at Chipotle on Factoria Boulevard. The best pitcher of all of baseball, a 2-time Cy Young, was hanging out for 3 years at Bannerwood in Factoria.
What's wrong? No idea.
No idea. Had
long hair. You see his hair? He had like long hair.
What's going on there? We could have you and I could have been going to watch the future 2-time Cy Young Award winner at Bannerwood off of Richards Road in Bellevue. I find that to be strange.
Is there any part of you? I mean, because at least the Mariners have to say to themselves, well, we've beat them 3 times. We've had success. JP has hit them. Rosarena's hit them. Polanco has hit them.
They've had some success.
They've had some success. Right.
They haven't hit them because all of those guys are all hitting like 200s against them. So let's just make sure we understand.
No, I think JP isn't JP like really good against them?
Maybe okay. One of those guys is. Okay. Yeah.
But for Skubal, as good as he's been.
Yeah.
Isn't there have to be just a little self-doubt in his back of his head that, hey, man,
yes.
I can't beat these. Why can I not beat this team?
Right. I agree with that. And I think what he's thinking is if I only had him at Bannerwood.
If we played at Bannerwood, we'd win.
All their parents are going to be here. They're all going to want to watch it too if there is a Game 5. So you're going to be taken care of. There's going to be a big gathering of Seattle people to watch Game 5. By the way, is that what I really want?
No, you don't want some. Hey, Mitch, what do you think they should do in the second inning? Mitch, what do you think of Dan Wilson's decision there, Mitch?
No, that's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about in the bottom of the third. So, Mitch, talk about your end to KJ-Arent. What
Hey, do you still talk to those guys?
Yeah, do you still talk
to Softy? What's he really like?
Yeah, what's Hugh? Did you and Hugh have a falling out after all that happened? Is Hugh Millen allowed to talk to you anymore? Does Rich Moore allow people like KJ-Arent to talk to you anymore?
Oh, yeah, that's what you want to avoid. You don't want any of that.
I'm going to have 20 of that.
Hey, you remember when you had Sue Bird in?
Yeah.
It's just going to be all of that.
Are you guys still doing the bigger dance? I haven't been able to listen for a few years.
That's another edition of KJ-Arent with Mitch Levy, host of the Mitch Unfiltered podcast. Again, our weekly show airs in its entirety during the Daily Puck Drop, but once the live show is over, you need to sign up to become a Pucks Posse member to listen to the full show at pucksports.com. Let's wrap up the show here on I almost lost track of the day, Thursday, with Hey, What the Puck. Hey, What the Puck, again, always brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It's your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them at restoration1.com, North Seattle franchise. I'll say it again, and we'll just repeat what we talked about earlier. If I was Dan Wilson, Pete Woodworth, and the Mariners brass, they don't care what I think, but I'll just offer it anyways. I would start Luis Castillo tomorrow. He gets the ball, and you say to Luis Castillo, I need the 4 best innings you've ever thrown in your life. And then after those 4 innings are over, I turn to George Kirby, and I say, George Kirby, just be you. Be a baller. Be a beast on the mound. Be angry, furious George. And you give the ball to George, you say, I need 2 innings. I need 2 of the best innings you've ever had. The organizations, whether they can move on, depends on you. And then I turn over final 3 innings, 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's a combination of everyone. But it first starts with Gabe Spire. Then it goes to option number 2 right after. That's Bizzardo. He's earned it. And then you think about Matt Brash. But before I would think about Matt Brash, I would go to Andres Munoz and go, tomorrow is the day that you may pitch 2, but certainly more than 1. And then all hands on deck. If I'm the Mariners, go with Castillo. You followed up with Kirby. Priority number 1, option number 1 out of the bullpen for me is Spire. And really option number 2 to me right away would be Andres Munoz. And just to close it up and move on to the ALCS where you face Toronto. That's Hey What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Your restoration company lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Give them a call, 206-817-8917. Visit them at restoration1.com. Big thanks to everybody watching and listening today. Thank you to all our sponsors as well. Couldn't do without your support. Limback Lumber, John Howie Steak, Zogs on Fox Island, Hartley and Hartley Insurance, Georgetown Brewery, and, of course, Restoration One. Without your support, this wouldn't be possible. Indebted to you guys. Also, today's Daily Puck Drop. Find it up on YouTube, by the way. When you're there, please subscribe to the channel. Also, find the Daily Puck Drop on your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, and everything at pucksports.com, including signing up to become a member of the Pucks Posse. It's just $5 a month. You get all the bonus shows that we do, including Thursdays with Mitch, Levy, KJ-Arent, Wednesdays with Ryan Divish, Inside Pitch, our MLB insider, and our monthly podcast, The Sports Pit, with Steve Sandmeyer and Matt Stretch Johnson. Also, now producing the Graz with Gas Take 5 podcast, coming out on Mondays. That's it for Thursday's show. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday's edition. All Mariners tomorrow. We will sprinkle in some football, but a lot of Mariners on tomorrow's Daily Puck Drop. We'll see you then. As always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We like to sell out of anyway.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!